The Pod Show by Beat Fact Music. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Go and hit Beat Fact Music. BEATFAKMUSIC. Hit that subscribe button. Also, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check it out. Now let's get to the show. Free agency, folks. NBA free agency was very intriguing, to say the least. Of course, the KD trade was the first domino effect to start off this whole process. I already spoke about the KD trade via a previous podcast. If you want to hear my take on that, go back and go through the pod, and you'll hear about that. But before I get to that, I want to send an announcement here about a podcast, music podcast that's playing every Tuesdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For those of you in the West Coast, 8 a.m. And for those of you anywhere in the world, you could figure it out. I don't have time to be doing all these conversions of what time it's going to be. But if you love soca, calypso, a little mix of this, a little mix of that, DJ Ecstatic, GMPC Live. I'm going to leave the link at the end of this show. It's going to be on my YouTube link. It's going to be on Apple. It's going to be on Spotify. The link is going to be up below. If you can't click it, just do the old highlight and then whatever. It's something, for lunch timers. You want to listen to something, during lunch or during a break. It's really good. Check it out. Good manners, proper conduct. DJ Ecstatic, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now to the real thing here. Let's get real here. There was a lot that happened during this free agency period that's very intriguing. My whole take on this whole free agency period is cost cutting and getting the best for your buck. This wasn't about superstars. This was about a lot of role players and integral parts that could potentially put you over the hump. Usually you see free agency periods with lots of superstars moving, or a superstar or a great player. This was about pieces being moved, which I thought was very, very, very good. And I look at this free agency period as smart business management. Very smart business management. Like I said, the only big deal was KD. KD was the only big deal. And of course, before I start with the deals, because I'm not going to go through all of them, but if you want to know, you guys have phones, you all have internet, I would assume. You if you're playing on your Instagram, you're playing on your TikTok or Twitter, anything like that, you can Google and see all the moves that were made. I'm only going to focus on the significant moves that happened that I feel are significant, and then some other little topics I'm definitely going to take on for sure before the show concludes. So, but yeah, the first thing I want to talk about before I even get to that was Damian Lillard being released, which I thought was interesting, but I was not surprised. Not surprised at all, for the simple fact that it never worked, and I never thought it would work. Not because I don't like Dame, I just think it doesn't going to work with the system, and of course their coach too. You get rid of Adrian Griffin, who was doing a fantastic job. You fire him, you bring in Doc Rivers, who's an absolute disaster for many, many reasons. I don't have time to talk about Doc Rivers today. This show's not about him. And you get the results you get. They couldn't even get anything going with Lillard. And I love Dame. I just felt that Milwaukee was not a place for him. And of course, he had made it very open and clear that he wasn't really comfortable being there in the first place. But you know what? Shout out to him for toughing it out. You know what I mean? Like, he toughed it out. Some guys, just like Kawhi in 2018-2019 season. Kawhi came in. We knew he didn't want to be in Toronto. But he came in, he saw the roster, the Marcus All deal that happened mid-season, and bam, you saw what happened. So Dame said, you know what, I'm going to tough this out. You know what I mean? They released him in something called a creative wave path. So for the next 5 years, they're going to owe him $22 million, which I think is crazy for Milwaukee. It's going to kill their cap. For Dame, I love it. He can go sign with a contender on top of whatever league minimum he might get or whatever decent deal he's going to get. He's going to turn around and make $22 million from the Bucks. I mean, this was also a deal to stretch so that they could sign Miles Turner, which, I mean, it's a good upgrade over Brooke Lopez, but I mean, geez, Milwaukee's got a lot of work to do. So, I mean, of course, the Miles Turner move I like. It does hurt Indy, but, you know, Dame is going to be entering his 14th season, which he's not going to play because of injury. He's going to take time to get himself back, and I know he's going to be back and doing his own thing. 34, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's Milwaukee made an interesting move. They're going to be paying him for the next they're going to be paying him $22 million for the next 5 seasons. And on top of that, Milwaukee has their 2027 first round. Not Milwaukee, sorry. Portland has their 2028, 2029, and 2030 first round picks. And a lot could happen in the next couple years. A lot could happen. Trust me. So for Milwaukee, I don't know. It's very intriguing. Boston made a couple of deals. They got rid of Porzingis. They got rid of Drew Holiday, and people are like, what's going on? If you pay attention to what's going on, Boston, luxury tax-wise, is absolutely way over. They'll be paying out of their butts. They had no choice but to make these moves, and I'm telling you, they're not done. So you watch out for Boston, and people are thinking, oh, they're bad moves. And, of course, they got Anthony Simmons through a trade for Drew Holiday. I like the deal. I think he's going to be good, a good young player. I mean, he's going to do something. And, of course, Jason Tatum not going to be there for the year with his injury more than likely. I think Anthony Simmons is going to be good. Now, with Drew Holiday going to Portland, we'll see how that works. Is he going to be there? I mean, you remember he was traded to Portland originally, bought out, and then went to Boston. Now, is Portland going to trade him again? Are they going to do something out of the box? Like, what's going to happen? So I don't know what's going to happen. Another deal that I felt was interesting was Michael Porter Jr. being traded to Brooklyn for Cam Johnson. I feel that's a good deal. I think Cam Johnson, if he stays healthy, it's a good thing for them. I think it's going to be good. And I'll be touching on Denver very quickly, very soon, actually. But, yeah, it's a good deal. Michael Porter Jr.'s contract is ridiculous. And then apparently the players that they've acquired in Denver is not even equal to what they paid Michael Porter Jr. I think Michael Porter Jr. is a good player, but because of the market, that's why he got what he got. Does he deserve that money? Yes, he does. In the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the way business is and the way they treat these players, he deserves every penny. Any player that gets paid deserves it. Now, talent-wise, does he deserve the money? Absolutely not. But humanity-wise, does he deserve the money? Absolutely. And I'm glad he got his money. But, of course, Denver moved off of him. Luxury tax also is a big part of it. They got Cam Johnson. We'll see what they got to do. D'Angelo Russell going to the Mavs? Whatever. Next order of business. I'm sorry. I just don't see anything with him. I've never seen anything with D'Angelo Russell, and I'm not going to start with him. Interesting, Spencer Dinwiddie signing with Charlotte. I mean, is that really something? I mean, I don't know. Like, Spencer Dinwiddie, is he really, like, does he understand that this is the end for him? So I don't know. Mark Williams going to the Suns, I felt that was a very mind-boggling deal that they made at the draft. I don't know what Phoenix is doing. Lonzo Ball going to Cleveland. I like that move for them. He wants the ball. He's gonna do what he needs to do, and I just feel like he's gonna play. He's gonna ball out. So but here's the one that I like, and I like. This is what I like, and I'm gonna go to Denver because I think Denver has a significant role here in this free agency. What they went out and did is they reacquired Bruce Brown. They didn't reacquire him. They signed him to a 1-year deal. You remember he moved to Toronto, moved to a bunch of crazy shit. Cam Johnson, of course, the deal for MPJ. They signed Tim Hardaway Jr. to a 1-year deal. Very good cost-friendly deal. And then they got Valanciunas, who would be a fantastic backup for Jokic and maybe can even play at the same time with Jokic. So Denver, being intelligently smart, they let me get my words proper. I apologize. Denver has masterfully figured out a way to acquire assets that could help them win. They're not looking for stars. They need pieces. You look at Indiana in the playoffs. You look at OKC, the pieces around their stars or superstars is what made them so special and what got them both to the finals. You look at that stat sheet for Indy. You look at that stat sheet for Oklahoma City. There's multiple players in double figures. You can get a lot out of Jonas. Cam Johnson, if he does what he needs to do, he can get something for them. Tim Hardaway Jr., when he actually hits his shots, and Bruce Brown has been there before, so he knows what's up. So shout out to Denver. Like, they went out and did something smart. You know what I mean? Golden State did nothing, of course. Houston, keeping Uncle Jeff, giving Fred the extension, Aaron Holiday, decent deal, Steven Adams, and of course they got Clint Capella, Dorian Finney-Smith, the Lakers. I don't know what they're doing. I felt that was fantastic, to say the least. Houston knows what they're doing, and they got a good coach. As long as he behaves himself, personally, Houston will be fine. And of course, the KD deal, that I talked about in a previous podcast. I mean, think about this. They got a steal for KD. They kept Ahmed Thompson, and they got rid of a player who's not really focused on basketball. And if you don't believe me, go see what he's doing on his social media or whatever. He's not focused on basketball. He's too busy, posing up with his girlfriend. Meanwhile, KD's in the lab doing what he's doing, getting ready for season 18. He's loading up. Season 18 loading up for KD. So Indy, of course, losing Miles Turner. It's going to be interesting how that season goes without Halliburton. Clippers keeping Harding, Brook Lopez. Just a bunch of other things here. But Jordan Clarkson going to my Knicks. Whatever. You know what I mean? There's just a bunch of things that are interesting here. But I'm going to finish off with the Lakers because it's funny because I've had conversations with Laker fans and a couple of two good friends and I have talked about the Lakers situation. Their breakdowns have been similar. As you all know, with the Lakers on June 18th of this year, Jeannie Buss and the rest of her family finally decided to do a smart move to help the game of basketball and the sport by selling the team to Mark Walter for approximately $10 billion. But Jeannie wants to stay on, quote unquote, as a board of governor, or serve as a board of governor, whatever. She absolutely has no purpose in the game of basketball. She's too much about herself. Let me not start because I've been calling this for so long. Mark Walter, who obviously most people know, just won the World Series with the Dodgers this year and owns other teams. I think he owns the Sparks now. I think he has shares in Chelsea. He got a bunch of stuff, this guy. And this guy is a very hands-on when it comes. He's not a meddler. There's a difference between a meddler and hands-on. This is not Jerry Jones. He's a hands-on. He's really involved in sports. He loves sports. And of course, he's got to make his money. We all like to be involved in making money. But he's very involved. And the Lakers right now, when it comes to draft picks, it's a disaster situation. As most people know, they've been handing out draft picks. Their front office, Jeannie Buss, has most of her friends, the little cocktail party, as I call them. So we're going to see how this is going to play out in the next couple of years as the Lakers are now in a new regime. They got a new leader. They got a bunch of things that they want to do. And resigning Jackson Hayes, I felt was huge for them because there's a young kid who wants to learn and he's going to do what he can to play. DeAndre Ayton signing, 2 years. I don't like it. Now, some have said, keep your eyes on it. And as I told a couple of brethren of mine, again, who I talked about with the Lakers, I don't like it. And I've heard people on social media say, well, LeBron is going to be there. No, LeBron's job is not to babysit. LeBron's working with Bronny, and he's in year 23. He has no time for that. DeAndre Ayton, in this point of his career, should know what it takes to be an NBA player and what it takes to win and what it takes to be ready when it comes to season. Not playing Fortnite or Call of Duty or Metal Gear Solid. No. That's not what it's about. So hopefully it works out. Luka, the rumblings about him staying in shape and all that. So, sorry, not staying in shape, getting into shape, still can't play defense. Personally, I think this Lakers roster is not built to win this year. I think they have kind of put themselves in that position to see what they have, and then we'll see after that. We all know for sure they're not bringing LeBron back. He opted into his $52 million. He damn right should get your money, but he's out the door, whether he retires or goes somewhere else. And I guarantee you Bronny will be part of that exit too. So now I'm going to conclude with something that I was asked by multiple people. So Mike Brown has been hired as the coach for the New York Knicks. I have had a lot of questions, and I've answered all of them. The way this whole process went with the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau and all this was pathetic. And I was very open about it, and it's in my podcast. I mentioned it in my podcast, and I'm not going to shy away from it. But I also said I understand it in a certain extent, but I don't understand why you're going to do something like this and you don't have a plan. Mike Brown, of course, has been an assistant, has won multiple championships as an assistant. He's had a couple of 50-plus seasons in Cleveland. He had 4? He had 4 50-plus win seasons in Cleveland. I mean, he had a 66-win season with the Lakers in 2011, 2012. If you don't believe me, go check the stats. I remember that season so well. And then he went into the next season, 6 games into the season, and they fired him. He was 5 and... No, sorry, I apologize. Whoa. He went into the next season, which was the 2012-2013 season, 1-4. 1-4, and they fired him. So, and then he went back to Cleveland. The season after that, finished 33-49. That's after LeBron left. And he basically ended up going back to Golden State with Steve Kerr, and the rest is history. And him and Steve Kerr have a good relationship. A couple of championships out of that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I have to say this. Do I like the deal? Yes, I do like the deal. I just don't like the Knicks' process in getting this guy. You guys went after so many coaches that were already on current teams and you were denied. And then there was all kinds of other foolishness that was reported. But at the end of the day, I expect Mike Brown to do what Mike Brown does. And he's going to do a good job. He's got the player personnel. He's got the players. He's a 2-time coach of the year. He knows what it takes to win basketball games. And he has that passion and heart for the game of basketball. So I'm not going to throw anything. But the Knicks front office is got to be the most pathetic front office right now in basketball. And yes, it's worse than Washington. You don't fire a guy and have no plan. You spent how long to figure this out? Even the draft, you don't have a coach in place? Like I said, I've said it before in a previous podcast, and I'm going to say it again. Leon Rose and West Worldwide or Worldwide West or whatever you want to call this guy. I don't know why this guy just doesn't use his government name and stop trying to be a celebrity, because he's not. Those two are in the hot seat. Mike Brown has a bad year. I'm not going to blame him. Get rid of the both of them. Let's see if James Dolan's got the balls to get rid of his two buddies. And James Dolan himself, you know how I feel. Jeannie Buss sold. I'm like, yes. And I'm not even a Laker fan, but I'm a fan of the game of basketball. She finally came to her senses. James Dolan, maybe a call from Genie Bus will help you, and maybe you'll do the same goddamn thing. So that's my take. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a free agency episode of this podcast. As you know, when I do these shows, they're organic. There's no planning and sit down with advisors. This show is organic. This podcast, is organic. It's all operated and run by myself here, as you know, HD. And that's it. And again, for those listening, thank you very much, as always, for listening. Again, DJ Ecstatic, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., GMPC Live. I'm going to put the link on this podcast on the description here, so check it out if you want to listen to some good soca, calypso, and other various music. And that's about it, folks. So as I always conclude with every single podcast, wherever you are in the world right now, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night. I'm out. Peace, respect.